Hello, my dear friends.
Hello.
Hello. Well, we're coming to kind of cut some Q&As here a little bit here, but we're introducing the association I've been talking to you about that we've been wanting to put together that umbrellas all of us. And so we've been working with it and working with it, something that would open up to everybody worldwide and something to be available worldwide for all practitioners, whether you're a chiropractor or a medical doctor. We want to create a symbol of strength, truth, and honesty, and integrity.
Unity.
And unity, exactly, because healing is simple. We just need to get union on this. Mm. And as you've seen, a lot of you have brought yourself from hell to Wellville. And it's just amazing. You see what you can do with this level. And this planet needs this level of understanding, and it needs each and every one of you. You know, beautiful people out there helping others. Anyway, the name of it is People for Global Health and Spiritual Awareness. So the association is People for Health and Spiritual Awareness. We had to keep it short. We didn't have enough room to put natural health or holistic health. We didn't want to isolate that too much. We wanted to put something for spiritual or the upliftment of man, because all religions can belong to this when they realize that spirituality means awakening. It's no voodoo, it's awakening. And it's awakening to truth and more of who you are and how creation really works. So it's just awakening process. Those that are a little more awakened see more things in their world and understand more things because they're not mind writers. We've talked a lot about mind writing on YouTube and in our classes, using the mind too much. So this is the name of our new association, and we are getting prepared for next year, a big seminar. We want all of you to come if you can. We're going to have creative arts. We're going to have workshops for you. We're going to have speakers. It's going to be fun stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to it. If you've never went to a big seminar where you have like-minded people, and this is for the spiritual people too, this is going to be fun, fun, fun. Then we can talk about all kinds of things. Workshops on essential oils, workshops on iridology, workshops on all kinds of fun stuff. So it's a good place to learn from those that understand and use this. So fun stuff.
Yes.
What do you think?
I like it.
Me too. I'm excited about that. So it's going to be in Orlando. I know there's some of you who wrote me that didn't particularly care for Orlando, but the consensus of everybody is certainly that's a good head for people that are coming overseas, and they can spend some time at the parks if they want to and kind of make it
a vacation.
A vacation,
The family,
yeah,
the
heck
kids,
yeah. And have some fun doing it.
We did say we wanted to make it fun.
Yeah, I do. I want to have all kinds of fun. I love those things, the creative arts, the music, the art, from people that are more aware of out-of-body travelers who see these beautiful cities and golden temples and things in the inner worlds, and they bring them down and paint them for you. I'd like to get some of that art in there to where it really expands your consciousness when you see these things that are painted from a more expanded view. So this will be fun. I'm excited about that. We have all kinds of fun there. All right, so prepare that. October, hopefully. We're still working on a date, but October, hopefully. So we'll send you information out on people for the global health and spiritual awareness. We'll send you that information. And
Let's say this is gonna be something really cool if we can do it like every year too.
Oh, we will.
Like biannually.
Well, I say once a year, if not twice. Because we can have it in different parts of the world and different parts of the country, so more people can have a chance to attend instead of having to travel so far. So this is fun stuff. When you get a whole bunch of like-minded people together, and you're listening to good speakers, and you're learning and you're growing and good spiritual awareness there, it's so much fun, guys. It's just so much fun to be around. It's like our classes. We have so much fun in our classes, don't we? I mean, everybody's just full of love and beauty. I just love that.
That's
creating community.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was about to say that was one of the biggest things that I heard from everyone at the class that I got a chance to speak with was that was their favorite part. Just so many like-minded people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just exchanging ideas.
Love it.
Exchanging experiences,
Love it.
Working with clients. So.
Tired of being sick and wanting to do something about it and learning how to do it right.
I love that. and wanting to help others do it too.
Yes.
Whether you do that or not, it's up to you as an individual, but it's always nice to reach out your hand, especially when you know you can help pull them out of their hellville. And so I'm real proud of all of you guys for that. We thought we'd do a few Q&As here, just for the sake of it, because we just want to introduce our new association for everybody. Any feedback, we welcome all of that, because we want you to feel a part of this, because we have to change this level of consciousness, guys, and you're very much a part of that. It's not just about you or me or us. This is,
Right.
There's so many suffering, and the kids, Jiminy Christmas, look at the genetic weaknesses, look at what's going on at the children. This is why you have to join us, and we will show this world how to uplift and regenerate genetics and stuff. I've already introduced the way we're going to talk about our detoxification from now on, because it is truly that. When you're trying to describe to someone that through this process of detoxification, proper detoxification, there's all different thinkings on detoxification. That's why I want to finish my book on the science and practice of detoxification, to show you the science and practice of it, and keep it within, because there's still people out there that go crazy with things.
Well, life detoxes all the time. All the time. This isn't something where I'm going to do a 3-day, I'm going to do a 2-week. You can do that within the scope of it, but you got to understand what regenerative detoxification actually is.
Yep, and it's easy for you to talk about because it all flows. It's been hard for me to think about how to explain what we do, because we detox people, but our goal is to regenerate the tissue behind the fluid that's caused so many people troubles. And so we're talking about detoxification, focusing on a fluid to get to the cells. The herbs come in and help the cells to regenerate. We just had one case where their diet wasn't that good, but they just crammed the herbs down. And I couldn't believe the lymph system didn't look like in the eye that it changed much, but the genetic lesions, some of them were gone, some of them were so small you couldn't see them anymore, and I'm talking in the brain and things, and it was amazing to see just what the herbs by themselves, because the diet was like so-so.
Well, everybody that's heard my story knows that when I first started, my diet was so-so. And the things that cleared up
With the herbs.
in that time frame, I hit those herbs hard.
I know.
I hit them
I
hard.
know you did. And I think that's true. You see that all the time, where the herbs are just, man's going to someday realize, and I hope not when it's too late, that those are our sweethearts. Those are not our poisons. Those are our sweethearts. Pharmaceutical world would not exist without them. So we just have to realize that is really key.
The difference between a food and an herb or a weed is all in perspective.
Matter of fact, in this country, we classify herbs as foods, not medicinos. And there's an important difference. That's why the FDA has a hard time clamping down on them. But, that is what it is. So regenerative detoxification is what we're into. That'll help you to describe to the people. And we have a website all set up, and we'll be getting that fixed up too. More on proper detoxification. Then it'll flip to our main website and everything like that. So good, exciting stuff.
Well, we get asked questions all the time about, I understand what you do, but have you seen this improve? Have you seen that improve? Have you seen that improve? And we want to start getting it out there that if you clean the body, if you fix the terrain, there's nothing that can't regenerate.
Yeah. And you've proved that. You've helped people and shown that. We've shown that. So it's not just theory. We've demonstrated the facts of it. Now, theory is one thing. That theories live up in the air with no, grounding to it. We like truth. And a theory can be a theory if you can eventually prove it. But there's so many theories, and we've talked a lot about this, particularly in chemistry. And when I took chemistry in my youth, I didn't understand theories. It wasn't explained to me like we're finding out that it's just a world full of theories. I didn't understand it at that level until I went back and tried to describe how you regenerate the human body through current biochemical thinking. Can't get here from there. It's just there's too many. You've seen that, and you've researched that a lot. you, and we just keep reading roadblocks. And I did that 40-some years ago. That's why I left biochemistry saying, you know what? Those are for people that want to get lost and stay lost, because you never can get to the truth. Truth is more simple than that. So you pull back and you start viewing the whole as opposed to just little pieces. And we've talked a lot about that. I've worked with these guys a long time, and trying to get away from mind writing too much. You know, getting pinpointed in your thoughts, you lose your ability to overview. And if you can't overview, you can't do anything with an isolated thought. You can't place it where it needs to be. You can't do anything with it. It remains an isolated thought. You have to be able to pull back in consciousness and overview, just like a jigsaw puzzle. Remember in Indiana we put together all those jigsaw puzzles? You got to know the right place for it. Does it look like this? That's it.
Some of them can become close, but it can throw off the whole puzzle if
That's
you
it.
put one piece in the wrong place.
That's it. And especially if it don't fit and you make it try to fit. I see that all the time. This is from Kenna. It's a good friend has colon cancer. He is in his late 40s, in overall very good shape and works all the time. He seems to have good gland functions in general. He is open to try new things on the health side, but he is new to it all. And I am slowly introducing him to the fruits, herbs, and detox. What type of protocol would you suggest?
Well, it sounds like she's got a good start.
Yeah. My second question is, what do you know about sickle cells? Thank you, Dr. Morse. Much love to you. Thank you, sweetheart. I know this much. You can go in and regenerate the body on all levels. Sickle cell anemia, all of these sort of things. You can go in and regenerate the consciousness of cells, of livers, of spleens, of the whole body. We've had some sickle cells here, but no one's ever stayed long enough for me to work that and change that immune response there. So, you know, it's just the way that is. But there's nothing that I've seen that a person can't regenerate. So what'd you do? Colon cancer?
Well, you know, it makes sense why you're getting cancer there. It's a really big hot spot for a lot of people. It's a top killer. And it just makes a lot of sense when you start getting into acidosis, when you start getting into congestion of the lymphatic system, also inside of the GI wall. This isn't something that we just throw stomach and bowel at. Because it's not just a topical stomach and bowel or stomach or bowel, or in this case colon issue. It's happening deep inside of that wall. You know, you've heard him talk about it multiple times, about the lymphatic system being in charge of cleaning even that tissue. Even tissue that's commonly associated with the elimination process still needs to be cleaned, even though that kind of sounds like an oxymoron, you know, like you wouldn't associate your bladder or your kidney tissue, but then you see bladder cancer.
But you said it pretty good in that way, that you not only have the, let's say, the canal of the bowel, the opening, the garden hose, so to speak, but you have the wall that makes it up. And that's what people have to understand. What makes up the wall of veins? What makes up the wall of GI tract, intestines? What makes up these walls?
Cell is a cell.
That's the only one thing that makes, exactly, there's only one thing that makes everything up, and that's cells. Different shapes, different sizes, that's for sure. You got some cells almost a foot long, and some cells you cannot even see them. So you've got a multitude of all kinds of crazy cells in the body, and they're just like people. They're individuals. They're here for a job, that's what they do, they know what they're here to do, but they like good fuel. They like proper fuel, like your car likes good fuel. Motors are designed to run on proper fuel. And we've said this many times, we're burning dirty fuels, and the first place it gets beat up, GI tract. What Attila's saying is the most important part of this is that the lymph system is always involved. These are lymphomas, and it's deep within the wall. But you can certainly trash the wall up.
Sounds weird, but even the colon cell excretes.
Yeah, yep. How about the artery walls? 2 cells thick. One cell for epithelial and the other cell for which? Connective tissue. And yet cholesterol will plaque right in between them. And you see that on the Lipitor commercials where it plaques in between the epithelial cells and the connective tissue cells. And that's where it would. You've got to remember there's even a lymph system in the vascular system. There's a lymph system everywhere because everything produces sewage.
Right.
And I often thought this is why they found the piggybacked lymph vessels on the arteries in the brain. Remember the University of Virginia? Because it also has to pull waste from the artery itself. Pretty cool stuff. We don't know a fraction of what's really, how
Yeah.
God designed this thing. So at best, at least we know how to regenerate, and we know at this level.
Yep.
But what do you think? I'm thinking GI broom, I'm thinking horse your stomach and bowels and stuff. But again, the real problem is in the lymph system.
Exactly.
Even though this is in the bowels, it can be in the liver, it can be in the heart, it can be in the brain, who cares where it is? The problem is always in the lymph system, in those areas.
So, you know, when you add the lymph system, you're already going to tack on the two other formulas on top of it, either an endocrine formula or an adrenal formula, followed by a kidney formula. I mean, it wouldn't hurt you to do 2 kidney formulas.
I would definitely do 2 kidney formulas and start out with 1 lymphatic formula for a couple of weeks or a month, and then hit for 2. You know, really start pulling this out.
Depending on where it's located, they could do some heal all tea enemas,
Yeah, you could.
depending.
You could do that. Diet, what do you think? Man, I would be strict because colon cancer is somewhat tough. So I would definitely do fruits, berries, and melons, and that's it. If you can get this kid to do this, I would be doing that. Maybe a salad once in a while, of course, but you know, colon cancer was #1. Now lung cancer is, but it's still around there at the top.
I mean,
hundreds of years.
if they're gonna go to the greens, I would actually recommend green drinks, give that colon a rest.
Good. Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean,
Do the-
If they're gonna go.
Also, you can do, I was listening to another video you're putting out when I was just researching a few different topics. But you'd recommended doing beets, parsley, and
dandelion green.
dandelion greens for the
Yeah,
kidneys to
yeah.
clean them out.
Yeah, when you're doing a green drink, you want that green drink to have at least 3 of these herbs in it, if you can still get dandelion greens in the winter. There's dandelion greens, parsley, and beet bulbs, because I'm telling you, the beets will clean your liver and your kidneys like crazy. I mean, this is just a powerful drink for urinary tract and liver, but all that's connected to colon.
Yep.
Yep. So this is how you do it.
The big thing to watch out for would be the proteins,
Yep.
especially combined
Yep.
with carbohydrates.
Exactly. The one thing you wouldn't want to do with colon cancer, of course, would be proteins. I mean, this is man's biggest issue, obviously, and it's amazing how much hype has been built up around proteins.
Most people, or I shouldn't say most people, but a lot of people with colon cancer are chronically constipated or backed up. Get him moving. Get him moving.
Because as that lymph builds up in the wall of the GI tract, colon, etc., you're going to lose peristalsis, because as acids build up, what do we see? Agglomulation, coagulation, dehydration. So what you see is a drying, a coming together of chemistry, a hardening, a mass producing, and of course you're going to be lowering electricity, so your peristalsis goes way down. So you always want to have electrical food in your diet to create good electrical bowel movements.
And the fruits, those are very, very hydrating. They're gonna help. The more he can do, the better. It's gonna hydrate, get that colon moving. Like I said, I had one person that the only thing we changed was the adrenal formula, not even the stomach and bowel. And they hadn't gone in over a week.
Look at that. Just
I
the
know,
adrenal
just the
formula.
adrenal.
Just the adrenal formula. Now, why is she saying that? Because the adrenals produce neurotransmitters for the autonomic. And neurotransmitters is the switch. Turns it on, turns it off. You know, epinephrines or your dopamines, you know, it just turns things the way it needs to. So, absolutely.
I wanted to add my 2 cents on that too.
Yeah, good.
With the colon issues, even not colon cancer, but people who are backed up for a pretty good bit of time before they get into us, who need to be on stomach and bowel 5, I can attest to that with the adrenals, how important it is with that, and even brain and nerve too.
Good.
Because with the stomach and bowel, I've just seen people on stomach and bowel 5 taking them hand over fist,
Yeah,
and it's not that the
Right.
tissue itself
right.
is not working.
I
It's what
agree.
you're talking about, that peristalsis, so the actual muscular, when you swallow, and that muscular movement almost looks like your muscles are doing the wave,
Yeah.
doing it and moving the food all the way down and then out. It's kind of cool to see
Well, this
that.
is why you chew. You know, you chew. We're different than, let's say, omnivores. Omnivores don't digest in their mouth, so they swallow. You've noticed a dog, you give them a piece of meat, they don't chew it, they swallow it. And it's because there's no digestion of protein, even in our mouths, there's no digestion. If you eat a lot of nuts, you can wake up in the morning with nuts in your teeth because there's just no digestion of protein in your mouth whatsoever.
Right.
But it's important, something else you were saying of that, very important with this adrenal, and to understand that you can't always hit your body with laxatives and stuff. You have to remember the nervous system component and that sort of thing. But truly, as things become more acidic and more hardened, it's harder for the nervous system to move those things. And then, of course, that all has to have an adrenal component, so the neurotransmitters are down. How would you tell your neurotransmitters are low? What one look could show you that? The blood pressure. Top number, systolic, both sides. That's your cardiac punch. That is your adrenals. That's your neurological system right there, your autonomic. And if you're running low systolic, below, let's say, 112 or something, you're going to have low electrical, effects. All right, so here's another one. An abundance of love for you and to all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Who is this? We love you too. Gina. All right, for 3 years now, my legs have felt super sensitive to pants. When I wear shorts, they are fine. But as soon as I put pants on, my legs feel prickly all over and is so intense that I sometimes cry, scream internally. Holy crap, honey. I just want to rip the material off my skin. It's agonizing. I do also feel this on the skin of my stomach and arms, but not nearly as intensely as my legs. I am on weeks 11 and 12 of the detox protocol. I've done it over a period of a year. As this is most affordable for me. Well, I'll say this, and we can stop right there just for a minute. With the herbs, I get that, but diet, boy, you really want to. And another reason for fruits, berries, and melons with what we've read up to this point is neurological. You got to remember, fruits, berries, and melons are your neurological foods. And they will give you more systemic energy neurologically. Because it sounds to me like you're really inflamed. And your nervous system is highly sensitive like that. And, to touch like that can cause pain even. That's just so high acidosis. Let me finish. All right, I use lots of your other products like Superfood Blend, Heal All Tea, Pituitary and Adrenal Granulars, not for the leg situation, but for other things. And I love your herbs, but nothing seems to help my legs. I eat fruit for the first half of the day, then transition to salads and guacamole or minimally cooked vegetable soup at night. I do cheat on the weekends with pizza, which I know you say is the worst of the worst. Well, it kind of is if you look at it. I mean, it's probably the best smelling. I mean, when you get that pizza smell, but look at that cheese and white flour, for God's sakes, and
proteins.
And proteins if you get meat on it, and then cooked tomato sauce. I can't think of the 10 top worst things: dairy, meat, cooked tomato sauce. That's the acid coming to get you, baby. Taste is good, if you like all that stuff. Me, it rips me apart. I can't eat that stuff. But you say, okay, I'm sorry, I can't yet help it. That's okay, honey. But listen, you're complaining about your legs, so let me suggest that you at least go 100% raw, and that you move up to fruits and berries and melons for a couple of months and dig a little bit. Also, pick lower circulation, brain and nerve number 2. The longest I went on all fruit fast was in July for 3 days. Wow. Well, you did at least 3 days, but you could do better than that. And you want to do better than that, because I don't like what you're saying here about that sensitivity all over, especially when you lose your nervous system. That's a problem. This is a big accomplishment for her to do 3 days. Wow. I do plan to do more next warm season again. Is there anything you can think of helping for my legs? Well, I can tell you is pound the kidneys, pound the lymphatics, pound the lower circulation, but you want to keep it raw, honey, I'm telling you, because that's a big component to it, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is also, like you said, neurological. You've got to go back to, the adrenals are the neurotransmitters. You're into that ego pressure. The 5 senses area, which is that straight up 12. Look just to the right or the left in the eye. that's that five senses, that's touch and everything like that. And she's having issues with all of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, looking at probably even the cerebellum.
Mhm.
As
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, you could work these neurolymphatics, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because,
I'd try and unlock all of this up here because you know that
mhm.
she's locked in.
Plus, down below, I mean, you should have some lower spine tweaking and things like that. I don't know if you've been to a chiropractor yet, but, you know, check down into the sacral areas and, you know, really take a look at that lower spine, see if it's out or anything. Definitely increase blood flow down below, but this is the nerve problem.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that your nervous system is getting impeded or somewhat blocked to a certain extent, or definitely highly inflamed. When you're that all these nerve endings causes pain on the skin and all that. You're
Has
just
she mentioned the arms at all, or is it just the legs?
stomach a little bit.
Stomach and
this
arms.
is again the autonomic nervous system, all the autonomic nervous system. Not to say that their problem might not totally be in the stomach too. I mean that's the center of that,
You read her eyes already, and you said she had a pituitary weakness.
and skin weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't use any synthetic fragrances. Good, I wouldn't either. Chemicals or soaps, washing detergents, I wouldn't either. We're going to have everything 100% natural here one of these days, because even in the health food store, some of this stuff is crap.
Yeah.
We order stuff in for our pharmacy here, and it's crap when we get it in. We don't know. You order it, it's under the natural, all healthy, and everything's natural in it, and then you read it and go, what? It's like the toothpaste. We got our own toothpaste. It's not toothpaste, tooth powder coming out. It'll be out here shortly. But everything on the market's got all other crap in it. It's like, what? You don't need all that stuff. Anyway, also I get a little nervous when you talk about what's coming. You mentioned a fusion center. What is that? How do I best prepare and know what to do in whatever unfolds here on planet Earth? Blessings and love. Well, all I can say, if you're in America, I would definitely get dehydrated foods, start stocking up with them, and water. You know, in this country. Be careful. I start stashing money in the ground or somewhere.
Water's going to
Gold
become
and
a
silver.
commodity.
Yeah, big time. They already know that. You already see what they're doing. Fusion centers, scary stuff, guys. The FEMA has been building fusion centers all through this country. There's over 100 of them now, I think. And they have playgrounds. There's prisons with playgrounds. And from what the world order, from what statements have been made is either you get with it or you don't. We're way overpopulated, and if this does come to, why are they building the fusion centers? And the governor, I don't know if it's Bobby from Louisiana, but one of the governors of the South said those fusion centers are for people like us who talk against the government. Yeah, there's a real power grab here with the World Bank and those sort of people. And you see that with the current presidents, you see with what's going on here, their need to make this a one world order, the need to move the World Bank into a power position. So it's just, you have to be real careful about this future coming. It's we're not done with wars, not even close. But with all your help and the infusion of the love and the health and all that, because it isn't enough to say you got to love people. This comes naturally when you feel good and healthy. When you're eating dead animals and stuff, just the energy, the vibrations, you're surrounding yourself with negativity, yet you're telling yourself you want to give love to everyone. Love is a natural thing that springs out of your beingness. And when you start to recognize the oneness of all life, everyone is from the same creator, then everything just fits. And then you don't have that need to control others and all this sort of thing. So I don't know what to say. The fusion center scares me. We had a man, top FEMA man, work for us, and he filled us in a little bit on these fusion centers, and it's just for people that don't want to follow the World Bank. They will, freedom fighters, basically.
So we were not created with a spirit of fear.
Nope, we were not.
We can't live in fear.
I do not let that bother me at all, because when you're a soldier for truth and honesty, you're a soldier for the divine, and you always want to be a soldier for the divine, because that is all of us. We're all the divine, and all of us working together is just the divine helping itself to fix everything. You want to read one? See where we go here with that one? Sure. And I think there's more on that one. No? Oh, this is another one.
Okay. So this comes from Upon Walking. We're Justin. Right here. It's hi again, Dr. Morse. I wrote you a while back about your hair loss, or about hair loss, and having a hunch it was some buildup of tissue under the scalp causing the loss. Well, I've been wrecked with health problems my whole life, and once the hair loss started, I just dove inward, leading me here. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for keeping this all so simple. I have always strove for the simple beauty and truth. Now I know why. Oh, and thank you for the trips to God, to the God worlds. Help me serve so I can go home. I remember.
Ha! That's
a good
cool.
one.
That's a good one. Thanks, my friend. Absolutely. You all just keep working at night because we're working with you there too. You know, trying to develop all of you and awaken all of you up as much as we can. It just, you can see why, you know. Thank you. So that's a lovely, that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Love you. This is
Oh,
from
thanks.
Sarah. What are your thoughts on diabetes insipidus? My anti-diuretic hormone is low, therefore whatever I drink comes out fairly quickly and diluted. Do you think this could be affecting my kidneys? Sometimes they hurt or I feel inflammation in that area. What are the effects of DI on the kidneys? It's likely caused by my pituitary gland. I had a tumor on it and I'm 5'1". The last scan showed it was gone, but obviously I have more work to do. Tricky because I think this could be affecting my kidneys' ability to filter. Thank you for your long videos, by the way. Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah, honey. Go ahead.
Well, I've actually never heard of that.
Type 2, right?
I'm assuming she's taking the diuretic hormones. No, it's
I don't
not
know what
she
an
said.
anti-diuretic hormone would be.
Yeah.
An anti-diuretic. You know, the thing that scares me with an anti-diuretic, again, if you're holding water at any level, and I don't care what name they give your problem, what side of chemistry are you under?
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, there's only two sides of chemistry, so always, if you want to, it's easier to go there first. It's just easier for people to go there first. There's only two sides of chemistry. The word chemistry is almost ominous and almost laborious, but still, there's only two sides of chemistry, and everything's chemistry. So there's only base, female, and acid, men. So when you ask, when you have taking a diuretic, that means you're holding too much water. And of course, with that comes congestive heart failure, pulmonary edema, you drown. So a diuretic, of course, is out. But when do you see the need for a diuretic? Is when you're highly acidic and your kidneys aren't filtering. But this is an anti-diuretic, which is scary as hell.
I'm wondering if she's talking about the osmolality,
Oh,
that word.
I don't know. If this,
I don't think she's actually taking, she's
Yeah.
talking about what's naturally produced.
Yeah, I'm hoping, because an anti-diuretic would not be good, because you want to be able to move that water out of there. Again, the water's just, remember, the universal solvent. It's there through osmosis to begin to break up or neutralize. But when you have extreme stagnation, it's hard for it to even do that. That's why all these people take all the extra elements of oxygen and things like this. But you can burn yourselves. You know, you have to realize that when you're that acidic, dehydration has set in, and there's only one way out, and that's rehydration. Only one
Says,
way
do you
out.
think that this could be affecting my kidneys? Well, absolutely.
Of course, and the reason you have diabetes insipidus is your adrenal glands, and so and there's the kidneys right there. And then when she takes this, she gets pain in her kidneys, which is scary to me, because if this is truly an anti-diuretic hormone, it's having a negative effect on your kidneys, because that's where it would affect. So that's scary. It's like your statins suppressing your liver's production of cholesterol. All that does, it doesn't stop it from doing its job, it just stops it from producing it, which means it suppresses liver function. Of course, liver damage is part of their scene. Mm-hmm. And look at there, she had a pituitary on her pituitary gland. She's only 5'1", so she knew immediately. And that's what they're so good out there. They're learning that when they're short, it's a pituitary problem. Mm-hmm. And of course, there she was. And remember, Jensen found that in these genetic weaknesses, the lymph is always backed up even more than in the healthier areas. So, but it's enough to say, sweetheart, you got to get your kidneys filtering, and. Yes, it's possible the pituitary can control that. That's the questions we've been asking ourselves too. ACTH is the pituitary hormone, but that's for the cortex, which is really where the steroids are produced, not the neurotransmitters. My guess there's another hormone they're not unaware of that deals with the neurotransmitters instead of just the ACTH.
Yeah, with the when you have the tumor on the gland, you know that you have a lot of lymphatic congestion in the head. So this could be like a neurological, could be that, that leads all back to, again, diabetes being more of the disease process name, not really what you're dealing with. It's still
it's the label.
Again, it's the label. It's kind of more of the effect, not the cause.
Yeah.
So you could
they're just labeling the symptoms. Yeah. But she's a good point though. It's right in Sarah's right in your kidney and adrenals right here. Everything you're talking about, sweetie, is right here in your kidney and adrenals. Of course, it's the pituitary, no question.
Exactly.
But then that brings up the question of your thyroid and parathyroid, because the pituitary, remember, through TSH and PTH, and then of course there's your monthly cycles with FSH. So there's all these sort of things. Remember, there's only about 9 hormones that the pituitary makes, so it's not a big deal to learn them. Not that you even have to know them to detoxify people, but you guys are learning so much. You're coming off as if you really know what you're talking about, and that's you don't see that out there much. Right. So I am proud of every one of them that's on this our.
Well, that's the neat thing is you're learning and you're educating. I think it's in Latin. Doctor means teacher.
Yeah, teacher. Exactly.
When did we stop teaching health and just start managing symptoms?
Yeah, exactly.
But you're all learning. And not only are you learning, but you're teaching.
I love it. Such a great group. Such a great group. What's this one? Hi, Doc. You mentioned in a video that you were considering putting on a spiritual seminar in Atlanta. When this is going to be in Orlando, and that's why we're having this little get-together. Absolutely. Get around doing this. And have you considered creating an online seminar for those who are too sick to attend? I love your thinking. Consider it done.
You could video it. And
we'll do it.
Yep.
For those that are sick like that, Catherine, we'll be happy. Man, what a good idea. We'll give this to the Men in Black. Oh.
A great website that was created to search your video is rawfigs.com.
Wow.
That is really good.
Is it?
It is.
How come you never told me?
I think Drew's brought it up.
Yeah.
Rawfigs.com. I love it.
Lots of work has went into that. Dear Dr. Morse, I watched one of your shows earlier this year where one lady wrote in having digestive shutdown. What goes in comes out, usually within 4 hours or less. I didn't make a note of that particular show, just remember thinking how terrible it would be to have that problem.
Yeah.
Well, now I have the same.
Oh, no.
I haven't eaten much this past week, but I look and feel healthy enough. So I'm just letting it take its course. My first meal was plain boiled vegetables. Then I remembered you saying fruits. This is what these hands are made for. Now I'm having only
canned fruits.
I wonder if they mean canned fruits. They do go down well and feel much more comfortable than the vegetables did. Zora told us that you are a healer from, you made me know what that means.
Yeah, they know it.
Arcturus.
Mm-hmm.
So you will know about the ascension of the entire galaxy, I believe, pulling the Earth up a couple along with that. What with all the excitement lately, maybe the ascension is actually being Earth driven by all the light workers, so however that goes.
Well, haven't you realized yet? who's a part of that? When you do, you'll know who's a part of this. Remember, I told you I brought a lot of help with me? You're gonna see. It's cool stuff. Please don't make another video just to answer this question. Oh, thanks. Well, I'm out of questions. I can go get some more. You gotta see what time it is.
Hal, this is from Hal. Here's one more.
Oh, good.
This is from Tammy. You want to read it?
Sure. All right, it's from Tammy. Could you please make a recommendation? I'm on your kidney 1 and lymphatic 1. I'm 46, whole food, plant-based, and have been in perimenopause since age 35. Instead of estrogen, they wanted to put me on. Have been taking soy isoflavones. When I tried to get off of them, I get mood changes and the hair falls out. Sometimes chest feels heavy. Advice? ? Also, have been occasionally seeing white swirly strings in the urine. I don't know what they are. No other symptoms. What other formulas should I use? Thank you so much. Well, that's cool. That you're seeing some of that in the urine.
This is just on kidney 1 and lymph 1.
Yeah.
It
Isn't that
sounds like.
amazing? And she's
Yeah.
getting
Adrenal
some
support.
strings of mucus out probably.
Yeah.
Unless they're parasites. You might want to deworm yourself just to make sure, you know, I mean. It's
Just a little story from not really a story, but
I like
just a
stories.
cool little thing. Julia, who works up in the front clinic, she was talking with a woman, I believe was 54 or 55. 10 years passed, I believe, after menopause, she got her menses again.
Yeah,
Just stuff that we really do see on the regular.
yeah.
So,
We do see that all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool to see how that's just one of those other things that, or one of those disease process or natural aging events that we can kind of reverse. Not really we're doing it, but you kind of just see it happening
But if
regularly.
she's been fighting it all these years, then where could that problem be? We would want to look again. Height, we'd want to look at whole scenario again, wouldn't we? And see if she's got a problem with that, because she wants to really strengthen up the pituitary connection to the ovaries and the uterus. So female reproductive, it's got, and still while they have false unicorn in it, as I'm telling you guys, grab that female reproductive and use it because it tones you females like nobody's business. It's a beautiful formula and it has some pituitary herb in it. If that's not enough, we can get more pituitary power going. But as a rule, it's generally enough, you know, but be prepared because it will start your period again. But
I had been irregular my entire life. I mean, once every 3, 4, 5, 6,
Look at
7
that.
months. Once.
look at that.
And I went on the pituitary and the female reproductive 3 years ago, and I have been regular ever since.
See, that's cool. And this is also goes for people that are trying, or ladies that are trying to conceive. You know, they have all this trouble they go through and all these in vitro and all this crap like this, and yet we have no problem getting women fertile. That's the problem, to get them too fertile. But it's about getting healthy. It's about getting healthy. We just talked about periods the last video we did because someone asked me about their monthly cycles, you know, and we know what happens to women's monthly cycles when you're healthy. They cease or spot. I mean, it's just all good stuff. Health means good.
Yeah, that's just, again, if you ask any other person though, once it stops, that's just the natural way of things. That's how everything stops. That's what it's supposed to be. But you throw them on foods that we're supposed to eat.
Yeah.
You throw them onto a formula or work with herbs that are.
Okay, so there was a lady couple years ago that conceived at 67 years old. So how does she still have eggs left at 67 years old? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's out there that might not always be true and accurate.
Well, there's some foreign cultures where if you stop your period before the age of what, I think it's like
70 or 80 is
70
way
or
up there.
something like that.
Yep.
There's something wrong.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? So we really don't know what a state of vigor and vitality would yield a female or even the male far as that's concerned, at the level we're talking about in terms of power to the muscles, the gonadal issues and all of that, yeah.
Her hair started falling out when she tries to get off of them. The
Okay, so
soy-
let's go back to these, I wanted to say, because anything that smacks of this estrogen or a type of estrogen is always going to be, it's going to affect your adrenal glands negatively. And when that happens, then the blowback is the lymph system at the very least. So when you start to lose hair, you have to understand that when you're shutting down glands, it keeps everything going. Then where you see the lymph the most, you're going to see where you really have trouble. This isn't that the thyroid is shut down and therefore you lose hair because of that. To lose hair, you have to have acidosis in your scalp. And sometimes the thyroid creates controls metabolism by rate, heart rate. So when you lower things, then your oxygenation lowers, and that can set off symptoms of acidosis that's there already that you didn't see when your blood was circulating better. There's just things that when you shut things down a little bit, what's there raises their ugly little head, because you know that you already had problems with that scalp and hair area. And if you have genetic weaknesses in that area, then we know the lymph is already backed up in that area even more. And when you don't suppress gland function, it suppresses oxygenation, it suppresses everything that goes on, therefore then your blowback is even greater still.
Well, you already know the pituitary's in play. You already know that the thyroid's in play. Look at that whole axis there. What's next?
There you go.
Adrenal.
There you go.
What's the brains of the kidneys? What's not filtering properly and is congesting all up in here and affecting thyroid, pituitary, hair.
And it's funny, is what you say is so true, and all you have to do is clean one system. The lymph system, and you clean all this up. It's so simple, it's got to hurt some people out there. I mean, this is so simple, the mind is just like, oh no, oh, I can't wrap my head around it. Good, good. We've wrapped our head around this stuff too much to where we've worn out this thing about health, and everybody's taken off doing these bizarre things. Kind of like the guy that wanted to do the MMS, you know, it's like, holy crap, chlorine dioxide, what?
She says she doesn't have any other symptoms. What other formulas should I use? I would definitely either get on the endocrine or an adrenal. And she's got the kidney and the lymph.
I get on both. I get on the endocrine gland, I get on the adrenal, I get on the female reproductive. All right, that's taking care of that. Then I get on 2 kidney formulas, 2 lymphatic formulas. I would get some hydrotherapy if you're hot and cold, work on my neurolymphatics, really candle my ears, anything to start opening and moving and shaking this lymph system up.
I have a client that she's been working months and months and months. And she called in and we finally got her draining to the point that she can hardly work and she's afraid of losing her job.
Draining too much.
She's draining. She is just it's
go
like
to her
she
boss and
turned
say,
on a
listen,
faucet.
just bring a bucket with you to work. Say, boss, I need this bucket. You know, it's too bad our employers don't understand even more to help you out with that, you know. Because who cares if your nose are running on the job? As long as you're getting your job done, you know, and you get, matter of fact, your employer wants you to be well because there's no sick days and things like that. So this is all good for employers too, because their people get better. We were actually someone that works for the United Healthcare had asked us about getting their people healthy, the people that work for United Healthcare, and I thought that was a good idea.
What are they calling it? They're creating incentives for getting off of medicine and losing weight and coming off blood pressure and those kind of things.
I was about to say, one of the things that we were going over here, instead of estrogen, they wanted to put me on being taken, basically,
Put me on and I have
instead of
been.
estrogen, you're taking soy isoflavones. And I guess you can almost lump these with any type of either hormone replacement, any type of mineral supplementation, any form of the isolated chemistry, where you're taking one little sliver of chemistry opposed to the whole or the food, or any type of herb even, which you consider to be a food, would have that in a whole amount balanced with other chemistry that you could take in. And that's exactly, you notice, this is the line that got me. When I try to get off of them, I get mood changes and my hair falls out, which is probably the symptom that you're taking that for.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You know, whenever you have a isolate of any type, whether it's a pharmaceutical or a natural product, and you take that and your symptoms disappear, come off of it. And let me show you what happens, because you're not fixing anything. You're treating the symptom. And I can make your fingernails grow by just giving you some horse's hooves. But that's not how you do it right. And that's not how you have lasting claws. You know, you got to fix some things, and that's the point. And what this is obviously doing is slamming your adrenal glands, so when you come off, you're getting another slam, a kick. And that's just like a steroid kick, you know, same
Well,
type of thing.
The one girl earlier asked, how do I prepare for things? Preparing and getting healthy and getting off medications. What's going to happen when something in this world happens? And you know, with things that are the way they're going, that it's going to.
Exactly.
What's going to happen when you can't get blood pressure medicine, you can't get insulin, you can't get heart medication?
Good
all the
point.
things that your body, you have masked the symptom and you are managing it, but you've not fixed the problem, and all of a sudden those things aren't available. Get healthy now. It's easier to prevent than to fix.
Yeah,
But if you're already there, you can fix it.
absolutely. Absolutely. You have a 2 o'clock?
Yes.
Uh-oh. You do too. We have to close this down. These guys have got 2 o'clocks, and I've got to get my little butt going too. We love you guys. We really appreciate you taking your precious time and listening to us and learning. And the proof is just when I read some of these, you guys are just talking from a very learned position, a position where you're listening and you get it. And it's just, I can't tell you what you're doing to your world in gaining this awareness and knowledge, helping yourselves, your families. Like you say, the future is obvious. I mean, there's a lot of things you can kind of get a good idea what's going on, but if you look at, you know, a lot of things out there, you'll get the picture. And it's just enough to say is that get yourselves healthy and learn how to live off the land a little bit. I would also, you know, maybe give me some dehydrated foods and things. Start saving up some things a little bit just for possible hard times.
And to end on a good note, start planning on joining us at the end of 2016
yes.
for the, I am serious, this isn't going to be your boring average seminar. We want to have
we're
fun.
going to rock the friggin'
Absolutely.
house.
Plan now for that. We'll get details. We're trying to nail things down, but just plan for it. It'll be something you don't want to miss.
Yeah, definitely. It's just so much fun. I'm
Yeah.
so excited, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We love you all.
thank you.
Bye-bye.